Hey there, adventure buddies. Wanted to check in with everybody, see how you're doing, let you clue in on the new project here. We're in the adventure rig, as you can tell, and yeah, I wasn't happy with the tubs and stuff that I had going on here, my bed. You guys may or may have not seen the walkthrough video by now of this, but yeah, we need some new cabinetry.
She said I'm rusty, I feel the same. She said I'll hold out to win the game, no matter how hard.
But yeah, that's just the whole point of this video, and what I wanted to talk to you guys about is you need to, if it was just as simple as cutting some boards and screwing them together, while we're on the subject, Gorilla Glue, I love all flavors of it for different reasons, but glue this stuff together, it'll just cut down creaks, rattles, all that, but you need to be sure about how you do it. I screwed up one piece last night, in part of my build. You got to kind of lie things out, put it all together. Also, another trick to all this is I got to build it in the dimension that right now, if I don't have anything hanging off this front board, and I take this thing off so it's easier to handle, the hinged front door, which will be to paint and everything, I could flip it over and slide it out the bed and out the back of the truck, because I don't want to deal with painting or any of that sort of thing in here. Paint store lady, she seemed incredibly knowledgeable there at Home Depot, which was ace. And she referenced to another hardware store while at a hardware store. But she really talked me into a paint and primer process. She says it'll last longer, and me being a cheapskate, whatever, I went for it. So I got $25 to paint. So a quarter of the cost of this project has been in paint, including screws and wood and stuff. I tried to size it around the pre-cut 2x4 stuff they have already. Biggest reason is it's an easy dimension to work with, and it's their miter saw was broke down, so I couldn't change within I was going to go with 26 inches, but I think the extra 2 inches should give me room here between my chair to do a coat rack, which will be nice. So this board's a rim from the base. This board here is a rim from the base. This is a uncut 2x4 piece. This is an uncut 2x4 piece. The base is longer because it goes back and goes to that hinge where my factory seat went. The back is a piece I already had that was over dimensions I needed. I'm approximately 42, I think the measurement was 42 inches high for this, rough and minus measurements. But what that allowed me to do is each one of these little shelves I'm using and my sides, all I had to do is cut them to length, and my shelves I don't even have to cut because I'm building everything around that. So it cuts down on the cutting when you don't have a nice big miter saw and all you're using is a little skill choppy saw at home. You don't you get square cuts. That's the big thing I like to abuse when I do stuff like this. Home Depot, it's got those miter saws, and normally they'll do half dozen cuts for free. So as long as you know your dimensions and how you're doing it, and you watch the people so you communicate, not watch them, but you just make sure you're communicating like, this is what I need cut, and they won't cut like inside cuts or anything, they'll just cut squares. But it's nice because you end up with squares, and that makes building this a lot easier. And you have to decide what square is when you're building and putting things in, and it took a good bit of eyeballing and standing back. But that's the whole point of this video, and while I'm babbling here is you have to if it was just as simple as cutting the wood, screwing it together and gluing it, you could have that done in an hour drinking beer. It's the way that the pre-cut wood, you know, another hour to go to Home Depot screwing around and that sort of thing. This is an afternoon project, including getting the first coat of paint on. But I spent besides when I'm on the road, I'm constantly pondering. That's like one of the things I'm doing. I'm just road tripping or sitting by the campfires. How would I want this? I'm just always working in my head. So I have a general idea, but then when it comes down to it, you got to start coming up with how you're actually going to do it. Measurements given to pieces of wood that I had to work with, 2x4 squares and 2x2 squares. Excuse me. One quick note too. Weight is everything. Try to cut down, like my top sheets are only quarter, or my shelf sheets for my main shelf and my other sheet are quarter. I'm lining everything with this 1x2 wood. I'm gluing and screwing. Ooh, that sounded kind of fun. Gluing and screwing it all, and I'm trying to keep down, if I have to add a stiffener, like in bottom one of the shelves or something, one of those later, or I might even do that like as I build it. If I just get it and it doesn't feel quite stiff enough, I'll add something to it. But I'd rather go with that airplane theory of having to kind of build up in just spots that you need the strength versus just go with full on, just over beef it. Because yeah, heavy duty truck, but I don't want to, the lighter things you keep, the nimbler things you keep, you know, the truck dances better. It's less load on the suspension, shocks, tires, less on the, you know, side hill and less on the dirt. There's a lot of advantages to keeping things light. So yeah, worry about weight when you're building things like this, but spend your time, eyeball it out. Hinges are magical things. Try to make things multi-purpose, multi-use. When I laid this in here, it has let's stick the camera that way. This board is a full-length runner, so I had to figure out the shelves and all that and lay it in right, and that's where I screwed this board on the bottom here, and that was wrong. But how this just runs straight out here, so my shelf just, bam. That makes it nice and solid. I have a little gap here. It's also designed where my bed foam goes here. It should sit about an inch higher. It allows me to keep the bed tucked. The bed doesn't move forward. It's a nice edge for the bed, so you're not always just crushing the edge of the foam. I haven't asked the dog yet how she feels about it, but more importantly, it's also a splash guard. So and this is going to get painted and sealed the same way this will, but in case something does spill in here, it doesn't just run right off into my bed. It has a chance to run here and then, you know, go other places, which won't be nice in general, but better than on my bed. So anyways, I'm sure there will be a continuous to this video here in a moment, but I want to get building because it's getting warm out. Alright guys, we got it in here. I'm gonna tell that was a bit of a chore. Yeah. Alright, adventure buddies. Well, I just got this finished up in here. Little cap tree. Getting ready to get back on the road. Do some general adventure Brad stuff. But I wanted to wrap up this video. The key point is it takes a long time to let these thoughts kind of hatch out and evolve to get to the point where it's something you're going to like. And if you noticed, I'm not very well organized in it yet. I kind of got everything kind of on the shelf that it needs to be in. But yeah, I'm gonna about hit the road again here. I was at the family house going through things, and yeah, it's just so hard to sit in the truck and to drive organized stuff. It doesn't work. So yeah, I'm gonna hit the road, plan on hitting camp early tonight, and I'm just gonna sit and ponder and kind of go through everything, and it'll probably take me a few days. But by that time, by the time you guys watch the walkthrough video, it'll be pretty well dialed in along with the rest of the truck here, and give you guys a little better idea of what you need to look for and think about, and you know, maybe strike up an idea for it. So anyways, Adventure Brad, if you guys haven't noticed, I've started a Patreon account. You know, living this life on the road does cost money. Producing videos, taking the time, effort to do them costs money. I like doing them because they're fun and it's fun to share and all that sort of thing with you. But you know, it's a balance. And if you guys like seeing more of these videos and enjoying them and stuff like that, even 50 cents, a buck or two, it all adds up. Send it on over to Patreon, and it helps me keep doing my life on the road and producing more videos for you. So anyways, you guys have a good one. Travel, camp safe, and remember, attitude's everything. If you think you could do it, you can.